Hey guys, time to summon Rorius. I am here. I gotta move my mic a little closer. Eh, there we go. School already started, and it's I see, I see. Yeah, you guys arrived around when you guys had must do the Rory dance. Yeah, you guys arrived at the channel when during the school holidays, right? Yeah. Well, you ruin and stuff that came shortly after that was like right on the school holidays. Unskippable. I literally have unskippable ads turned off. Oh, were they the 6 second ones? They in if they were the 6 second ones that you have to that like doesn't let you skip it. Those those for some reason count as skippable ads. I can't turn them off without turning all monetization off. Yeah, yeah. Those count as skippable ads, by the way. In YouTube's like rules thing, I have unskippable ads turned off because I I refuse to have I don't have mid rolls. I don't have unskippable ads because I refuse to have people stuck watching long ads and I don't like ads interrupting the content, the stuff in the middle. But those ones where it's 6 seconds, that by YouTube standards, those count as skippable apparently, because you can't turn them off without turning off all ads. No, I'm hungry at 11 p.m. Thanks, YouTube. That's what they bargain on. They count on you seeing that ad and being hungry. The ad was successful. But yeah, we're gonna watch some stuff on the Rorius subreddit. YouTube knows. Yeah. You cannot escape them. I have YouTube Premium, so I never see ads. Oh, dear. I got I got YouTube Premium back when it was called YouTube Red, and I got it very early on. Um, Back when it was the cheaper price, and they said at the time that if you got it at this price, uh, as long as you keep up payments for it, you'll never have to increase the price. And so to this day, my YouTube Premium is 9.99 New Zealand dollars as opposed to something like 17, $18. It's about half price. I get premium for about half price. Will to live subscription. I don't have that subscription. I'm hanging on by a thread. Oh, hey Mecca. I have I have a boba tea, except it's not boba, it's just tea. I have an iced tea. Ooh. It's a nice sound. Sponsor of the video. Peach tea. That's good. That's good. Anyway, we've got Ragdoll, an actual short. Okay. What's this? Why do I feel like I've seen this? I think I've seen this actually. Did I watch this at the end of the previous one? It's cute. It just goes back inside, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Maybe I saw it, maybe it was suggested to me at some point, but I've definitely seen it before. I have the boba tea, but it's not boba, it's just tea. One of the 2023 best, best quotes. I have boba tea, except it's just not boba, it's just tea. That is very me.
When this cat named Mimo saw this mirror, she started to wonder what was sticking up at the bottom of it. And once she raised up, this was the first time Mimo realized she had ears on the top of her head, touching them over and over, trying to figure out what these things are. She was stunned at this discovery, and of course went back to feeling them again. When she finally looked away in complete disbelief, she noticed them in the mirror again, and had to go back one more time just to confirm this is real. When this cat named Mimo saw this mirror, she started to wonder what was
I frequently doubt that cats or dogs ever can tell that what they're looking at in the mirror is them, because that's one of those like higher level intelligence things. But a very cute premise, very cute premise. Half-Life Alyx AI is insane. Ooh. Coffee to your right and strawberry milkshake to your left. Ooh, nice. Uh, what are these? Literally that one car when it remembers it. Sorry, that one cat when it remembers it as he is. Yeah, yeah. It's like, what are these? Ah! And a Rorius reaction stream right in front of me. Yeah. Hell yeah. That's really neat. I have not probed Alex for just what, like, for all the little intricacies of its AI. Like, I have, well, I say I have, like people have for Half-Life 2. Oh, hey TJ Kammer, welcome back. Yeah, it's been a little while. Yeah, yeah. To be fair, I didn't stream for a little while. Well, I've had very on and off streams for a little while, so yeah. So when is 24/7 stream? Oh my god. What's this? 24/7 stream right now? I might do one of those soon. I know I said that ages ago. 24/7 stream right now? I might do one of those soon. I know I said that ages ago. 24. I meant 12-hour stream. When when Fireboy says 24-hour stream, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I've been meaning to do a 12-hour stream. And I just like was like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to do one of those. No, not a 24/7 stream. Now is the Combine's line of sight attached to the head, or is it just a trigger? Good question. That's the thing, is it's seemingly the way that that character reacted, it seemed to be attached to the head. Because he sort of like turned his head around and was like, she's here. After he finally stopped talking about whether or not something is kicking something. The guy's completely clueless and they throw you a can and make you pick it up. Pick up the can. The unviewable Portal Runner Twitch clip from last month. Oh, right. Yeah. Oh.
bean counters told me we literally could not afford to buy $7 worth of moon rocks, much less 70 million. Bought them anyway.
Wait. I'm confused as to the context. I understand he got donated.
The bean counters told me we literally could not afford to buy $7 worth of moon rocks, much less 70 million. Bought them anyway.
So donated 100 euro. I'm assuming something happened in the game that stopped them from being able to do what they were doing. Like reset portals or something. I keep deleting Reddit to get more space. Oh, right. Yeah. Turns out moon rocks are pure poison. I'm deathly ill. Yeah. Freaking Cave Johnson. This is Stairsist. Okay. Oh. 404. The DeviantArt link was 404. We might try. We might try again. If we can get a new link. Alright. Manifest Machine, but with 70 players. Oh, shit.
Beans.
It was removed for the best. Ah, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Surely this one lone engineer will produce enough ammo with his dispenser, right?
Oh my god.
There's 20 other burly Russian men. Yeah.
This is a 17-minute video. I can't watch the whole thing, but we'll see. Boot. Oh, hey Nathan. Welcome. So many. They're playing the freaking Command and Conquer Red Alert 3 music. This is called Soviet March. Yeah. I like the song. It's very patriotic, despite it being about the Soviets. This is like that was like the main theme of Red Alert 3.
Destroy.
That is not a lot of DPS.
Oh man, there's lots of spice.
Jesus Christ.
When we have a break, we need to upgrade our ship.
That is the shortest I've seen it didn't go on this map.
Y'all have a break now. The sentry can take care of the scout. Go upgrade.
Upgrading.
Anyway, I think we've seen enough. Yeah, if you have fucking 70 players shooting, especially if tons of them are heavies, they make short work of MVM. The best shorts loop I've ever seen, lol.
Excuse me, do you have time for a quick survey? Oh, I don't. I'm sorry. Question 2, what about a long survey? Oh, I don't have time for any survey. Question 3, can you elaborate on why? Oh, I'm running late for something. Final question, are you in fact running late for something, or is that just a lie you're telling to get out of taking a survey? It's a lie. So you're not running late for anything? No. Is anyone expecting you? Not really. Loved ones, pets, employers, a coffee date, a tennis partner, anyone at all? No one. And thank you, sir. Sorry. Thank you. We're finished. That'll be all. Are you sure I could use the company? Oh, well, it's my break, I'm afraid. I see. We are recruiting if you're interested in giving surveys. Oh, well, I suppose I am. Fabulous. Welcome aboard. Enjoy your break. Excuse me, do you have time for a quick survey? Oh, I don't. I'm sorry. Question 2, what about
Yeah.
a long...
That's a good loop. Oh yes, I saw some stuff about you were saying about Sons of the Forest, yeah. Highly recommend. Really hard on normal difficulty, and the caves are really confusing though. Some stuff like the ropes are hard to notice sometimes. Right. To be fair, that was what it was like in the original Forest as well. And even though you get a lot of ammo in the end, you always have almost none. Right, yeah, yeah. Well, that's a good, like, survival horror kind of game. Should be like that. Should be formatted like that. Yeah. Yes, it is. It is indeed the same guy. It's Sam Reich. Uh, the like he's like the or was the like CEO or not a CEO. He was like the head guy at College Humor. Uh, cling, 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 cling. Okay. Oh. That's like prisoners with the mug, like running it up back and forth along the bars. It's a cat equivalent of that. Sorry, one second. I'm just gonna sort out my windows. There we go. Very cute. Even when cats are being bastards. I love them. Okay, once again, we got a long video, but we're not going to watch the whole thing. This is clearly someone working on a Spider-Man.
I'm sure you've seen this a million times. It's Spider-Man swinging through the city, but something's very
Oh,
different.
that's right. It's an AI doing it.
This Spider-Man is not human. It's actually an AI, and this AI started off knowing nothing about its environment. And yet, it went from falling flat on its face to swinging through the air at over 100 kilometers an hour. So how did it accomplish this? And how did it learn how to swing when it had no human assistance? Let's go back to the beginning.
Also go to the caves if you can. If you go there later,
First thing
there'll be a lot
our
more
AI
enemies.
sees
Ah,
is a
right.
state. The state could be anything. It could be a view, or some numbers, or it could be a picture of a beautiful house. The point is, the AI is given some sort of sensory input about the environment it's in. The AI then takes this state and outputs an action. The AI has a bunch of inputs it can interact with, and the action describes...
The cat knows that making that noise gets it food. Even if it doesn't literally get it food, it's done that action in the past, and then shortly later, it's gotten food. So it does that like every day now. It'll be like a ritual thing. That's like a lot of animals have that. They don't. A lot of animals don't understand. Yeah, just like a ritual. A lot of animals don't understand the difference between correlation and causation, of course, because it's a slightly higher level thinking thing as well. So some humans don't understand the difference between correlation and causation. Like a lot of animals think that the ritual that they do will cause the outcome, that is, in this case, getting food. So like pigeons do the same thing apparently. There were studies done where they would have like a button above a chute that delivered food. And at first they trained the pigeons that pressing the button would give them food. And then they started not giving them food when they'd press the button. And the pigeons would continue to press the button over and over and over again to try and get the food. But once they realize that the button isn't enough to give them the food anymore. So what tends to happen is if they did an action other than pressing the button shortly before the food was actually delivered, they would start to correlate the action that they were doing just before the food arrived to the food delivery. So like there's the one example they gave was like a pigeon would press the button, spin on the spot, and keep doing that endlessly. Press the button, spin on the spot. Press the button, spin on the spot. Press the button, spin on the spot. Because at some point in the past, spinning on the spot, they did that right before the food arrived, and so they associated that action with the food delivery. And so now the pigeon just kept doing that same action over and over again, trying to get the food to arrive. Yeah. So, and the cat's doing a similar thing where it's like at some point in the past it clanged the bowl, and then the owner came and gave it food, so it associated those two things together. So now it's just clanging the bowl endlessly, waiting for the food to arrive. It's been like a record, baby. Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I think it's really fascinating.
That's how they should be set. As humans, we do something similar with video game controllers.
round,
The actions
round.
can be discrete
Pigeon
or
disc,
continuous.
yeah, yeah.
Discrete actions are like button
T-posing
presses, while
Spooder.
continuous actions are more like
Spooder
joysticks
man.
and levers. For the sake of the Spider-Man AI, all of the actions will be continuous. Finally, the action is applied to the environment, which steps forward in time and outputs a value called the reward. The reward is what motivates our AI, and it's given out like a score in a video game. So you get points for doing the right thing, and you lose points for doing the wrong thing. Our AI's job is to figure out how to maximize the reward it gets by picking the right actions. So states, actions, and rewards. This little sequence we have covered describes how a single frame or time step goes for our AI. In the next time step, the environment will change and a new state is produced, leading to a new action and reward. This process will continue on forever, gathering a state, action, and reward for each time step. Eventually, we may reach a terminal state. This ends the cycle. Maybe the AI ran out of time, or succeeded, or decided to go work
Shit.
Joe's Pizza. The point is, the loop is broken. The total reward we have received is final.
Please don't
and the AI
copyright
doesn't
strike
get
this
to choose
chat.
any more actions.
Yeah.
This closed-off sequence of states, actions, and rewards.
Yeah, you
forms
posted
an
the
episode.
the lyrics to a
By
song.
arranging the data like
Copyright
this, we
strike.
can now select any time step and see its future. The reason we do this is so that we can analyze the outcome of our actions more directly. If we isolate a specific time step, it's tempting to judge actions based on the immediate reward. But if we look into the future, we can see that the reward we got was taken away by a huge punishment. To solve this, we can add every future reward together, creating a new number called the return. This improves the judgment of our actions significantly, but there are still some problems. We aren't really considering the value of time. Yes, we are looking into the future, but how far should we look? Is getting $20 now the same as getting $20 in 10 years? Unless you're really patient, or broke, probably not. Time has value to us, and there's a good reason for that. The future will always have some sort of uncertainty to it. This means that any reward received in the future should be worth less, since it might not happen. The uncertainty also increases with time, so our future reward should scale down with how much time has passed. Let's introduce a new term, the discount factor. This is a value between 0 and 1, which represents how fast the rewards will decay over each time step. Typically, this is set somewhere between 0.9...
Something that just popped in my head, like I'm just like dutifully watching the video, is sure you want to diminish the rewards over time, perhaps depends on the context, but also, you'd want the like the completing of the level if there is a completion point. Oh, it's I feel like switching back to my other account. Oh, okay. Well, DJ Karma, welcome to your other account. Yeah. I didn't know Spider-Man had such a filthy mouth. Yeah. I love playing games on my half somehow working PS3 Slim. Ah, nice. The Last of Us not turning on and Gran Turismo not updating. Ah. Interesting. Why do I hear something? Weird. Every now and then I've been hearing music. really low volume music, and I'm like, am I insane? It's anyway, it's like kind of spooky. I'm not a mathematician, but what's happening? Welcome to the stream, Cheeseburger. This is basically teaching an AI to be Spider-Man. Um, and it's going through all the like reward stuff. But in my mind, if you have an end of level situation, you want the end of level reward to like to dwarf any previous reward, so that like getting to the end of the level is like the highest priority. Yeah, I guess it depends on how your priority is, whether you want the thing to last a long time or whether you want it to um uh get to an end of a level, or if you want it to, it depends on what the reward, what the actual end uh goal is. Whether you give rewards based on like, yeah, how far it gets, or like good choices, or finishing the level. Yeah, I did not know that. No, I didn't. Oh, it was. Oh, died of a heart attack due to COVID. Jesus Christ. 36. Fucking hell. I was gonna say, I just heard yesterday that the guy who's the lead singer of Smash Mouth died of alcohol abuse. Well, like liver failure due to his alcohol abuse at the age of like 56, or it's like 50 something. And I was just like, that's Jesus Christ. Yeah. Every now and then I hear like what sounds almost like background music of like a menu of something, and I'm like, where is it coming from? I can't hear it now, so let's continue.
Into its actions. It just keeps hitting the ground over and over again. After a few training sessions, the AI learns that spinning webs forward is a great way to start. Unfortunately, there is rarely any follow-up, but it's still better than nothing. About half an hour later, it started to learn that shooting more than 2 webs allows it to go a bit further. It started making decent progress,
Yeah.
but it was still very sloppy.
That's what you in this context, what you want is for the further it gets, like from its original destination, from its original point, the further along the path, along the Z axis or whatever axis this is, the further along it gets, the better its score. Is your favorite WWE wrestler? Oh, right. Hmm. It's just a Banana Rorius chant that you hear. Yeah. T-pose, Spooderman.
One of the keys to swinging like Spider-Man is consistency. One bad web can easily nullify several good ones. We can also see the emergence of what I like to call inchworm desperado. Occasionally, the AI gets stuck on the wall and decides to sacrifice speed for survival, leading to this hilariously slow movement. The AI's progress after that began to slow. Most of the learning that took place after this was mainly for the sake of consistency. The remaining training hours were less about exploring and more about fine-tuning. This AI was one of my personal favourites. It now opts for a backflip at the start for extra flair, and really loves this right wall for some reason. I mean, it really loved this wall. We're now 6 hours into training, and we can really see the experience of the AI starting to shine through. It now utilises both of the walls to make the swings more consistent, as well as being a lot faster. There is a newfound sense of calmness to this AI. Overall, it just seems more confident with its actions. And here is the final AI. This one has mastered swinging. It now swings down the middle at very high speeds, occasionally topping 150 kilometers an hour. It's so good, in fact, that it doesn't even need to look where it's going, or use its left hand. It has truly fulfilled its destiny. Now, due to some criticism I've gotten on another video, I think I'll just let the AI swing for a little longer. So if you're still here, enjoy.
Oh, Got real close. I was gonna say, yeah, what you want for this particular AI, what you want is like maximum distance at the fastest speed. So, like you reward the AI based on distance over time, as opposed to just distance. So if you go for just distance, yeah, it'll start doing stuff where it's like, as long as it survives, that's like the best outcome. What you want here though is you want some speed behind it, so you got to reward it for that speed as well. Um, usernames don't lie. your bread. Spider speed. Spider swing. All right. Platformers are incredibly hard to ride. I won't lie. Platformers, like, especially making them feel good, really hard.
Platformers are incredibly hard to write. Even if you take away the power-ups, complex level mechanics, and enemy AI, you still need to handle the controls. Mess those up and the game will feel bad, meaning no one's going to want to play it. So in this episode, I'm going to break down one of the quintessential examples of a game with good controls, Super Mario 3, and show you how to write the code that makes Mario move. Character movement in an NES game is usually achieved by combining two types of animation. First, there's the keyframe animation for the character itself, which is used to show how a character is moving, and second, there's the change in position on the screen over time. To create nice looking motion, the trick is to change the position for the character sprites by only a small amount from frame to frame. That said, because the coordinates for a sprite are stored as integers, the minimum amount you can move a sprite in a single frame is 1 pixel, which is kind of a problem. Okay, so here's a character I made moving at 0 pixels per frame. Amazing, I know, but look at what happens when he accelerates to 1 pixel per frame. It's kind of jerky, right? And it gets even worse as you accelerate further. On the flip side, take a look at how Mario moves. In comparison, his acceleration is way smoother. The issue here is that while a single pixel might seem small, the NES is rendering at 60 frames a second, and by doing some quick math, it's easy to show that 1 pixel per frame is equal to 60 pixels per second. So accelerating this way causes the character to go from 0 to 60 instantaneously, which explains why it feels a little unnatural. Thankfully, there's a pretty simple way to remedy this. Instead of jumping to 60 pixels per second directly, you just need to do it across multiple steps by hitting a few of the numbers in between. But like I said, the smallest amount a sprite can move per frame is 1 pixel, which means you need to be able to accelerate by fractions of a pixel in order to achieve the effect.
Thank you for subscribing with your alternative account.
Pretty much every NES game does this, but how exactly do you code something like that? Talk to anyone who's deep in the speedrunning community for SMB3, and they'll tell you. The way that the game has such smooth movement is because it uses something called subpixels. A subpixel is exactly what it sounds like. It's a fraction of a pixel. The idea is that you store the position and speed for the character in terms of subpixels, then do all the motion calculations in that format. After all the acceleration and movement is done, you can then convert from subpixels to screen coordinates and use the resulting number to position the sprites. By doing things this way, a game can perform much more granular transitions, all while working within the limitations of how the NES stores sprite coordinates. Technically speaking, subpixels are an application of a technique known as fixed point numbers, which pretty much everyone watching this video already knows how to use. That's because a lot of countries, including the US, represent money this way. Instead of subpixels, you have something like pennies, which represent fractional portions of a dollar. Add up 100 pennies and you get 1 whole dollar. Add up some number of subpixels and you get 1 whole pixel. It's the same idea, just 2 different applications. Mario 3 in particular uses a scheme where a pixel is divided into 16 subpixels. This gives it enough granularity to allow for smooth acceleration and works well because of how fixed point numbers are stored. For a single byte, instead of using all 8 bits to represent a whole value, a fixed point number sets aside some of the bits to denote a fractional part. A common way to handle this is to split the byte down the middle, with the upper 4 bits containing the sign along with the whole part, and the lower 4 bits containing the fraction. The game uses this exact format to store Mario's speed, but doesn't use the full possible range of values since his velocity is capped at plus or minus 4.5 pixels per frame. Mario's position is also stored using fixed point numbers, but the format is a little different. Both the X and Y coordinates are unsigned values from 0 to 255, which means that it takes an entire byte to store each value. So to store his position in terms of subpixels, you need another byte. The idea is to shift the whole part of the number to the left to make room for the fractional part. In this scheme, the first half of the whole part is in 1 byte and the second half is in the other, along with the subpixels. Each frame, the game adds the two fixed point values together and stores the result, then converts from subpixels to screen coordinates by performing some bit shifts. This effectively causes the fractional part of the number to fall off, leaving only a single byte-sized integer that can be used to position Mario sprites on the screen. Honestly, this is the secret sauce to smooth movement on the NES. Once you know how to store positions in terms of subpixels and how to convert those values to screen.
Yeah, basically, there's a very, very long-winded way of saying, basically, it has different math in the code versus on the screen. So, like, I was gonna say the way you do it is, like, from my original perspective of this video, I was like, well, what you do is you move slower than 1 frame per second, you move once every 2 frames. You move the character once every 2 frames, which is effectively what's happening. But in the programming behind the scenes, what's happening is they're moving fractions of a pixel, and then the screen is having to just render whatever closest pixel they're at any given time. They're gonna have them display at either one or the other at any given time. And so visually the effect is that he's moving every second or third frame, depending on the speed. Welcome to the weirdest comment section you'll ever join. I'm tired and it's really late, so bye. Oh, see you, Relic. Okay, all good. I'm gonna code a game with AI. It's possible 100%. You go right ahead. I'll be very impressed.
Coordinates. The hard part's pretty much done. All that's left is to set up the controller code, model the motion using state machines, make the tile graphics, place the sprite, set up
by
the
learning
keyframe
AI, you mean like a
animations,
learning
and
machine.
Implement all of the movement.
You're very
routines.
impressed.
Easy. Well, as far as the controller code is concerned, in order to correctly mimic the movement in a Mario game, you need to keep track of 2 things: which buttons are currently being held down and which buttons were pressed as of the current frame. The easiest way to handle this is to just store 2 button masks, one that shows which buttons are down and the other that shows which buttons were just pressed. The code to update the masks is run every frame and is basically just a modified version of the normal controller reading code with a couple extra bitwise operations. If you pay close attention when playing a Mario title, it's pretty easy to deduce how any movement code has to work in order to replicate the feel of the game. The first rule, as I covered earlier, is that Mario smoothly accelerates in response to controller input. This means that whenever he changes speed or direction, it takes some amount of time until he reaches the desired velocity. For walking and running, this change in speed is really straightforward. He always speeds up or slows down by 1 subpixel per frame. To handle the acceleration, I chose to store 2 velocity variables instead of 1. The first is the character's actual velocity, which is stored in terms of subpixels
and then intended
added
velocity
every frame to update the position. The second is the target or desired velocity. The target velocity is set directly according to which buttons are being pressed.
Yeah,
Then
that
the
one changes
actual velocity
immediately.
Accelerates frame by frame until it reaches the target. For those of you who are familiar with animation software or game engines, this is just basic linear interpolation. For my demo, I decided to break the movement code down into 3 subroutines. The first routine sets the target velocity based on the controller input by reading the down bit mask and performing some branches, then uses a lookup table to set the speed based on the input direction and the state of the B button. The next routine is used to implement the acceleration. Roughly speaking, it compares the current velocity to the target by taking their difference. If the result is negative, then the current velocity is less than the target, so I increase it by 1. If it's positive, then the opposite is true, so I decrease it. The third routine is used to update the character's position based on the current velocity. If the character is moving right, then the velocity is positive, and in this case, it's as simple as adding the 2 subpixel values together and storing the result. But if the character is moving left, then the velocity becomes negative, which complicates things. Since I stored the position as an unsigned value, I ended up having to invert the velocity and perform a subtraction instead. I'm almost certain that there's some really clever way to handle this using just addition, but my hack worked worked fine, so I didn't go out of my way to find one. Jumping
Right.
and aerial movement was a lot simpler to implement, and you only need to use 2 variables, the Y position and the vertical velocity. Every frame, the game checks the button press bit mass to determine if the A button was activated, and if it was, the character is immediately given a massive upward boost. Once the
Yeah.
character is airborne, the velocity is slowly decreased until eventually it reaches the maximum falling speed. For up to 24 frames, as long as the player is holding the A button, the game will only decelerate by a single subpixel. If the player lets go, or those 24 frames have elapsed, then the deceleration increases 5-fold. Coding this up only required a few additional routines. The first one acts like a wrapper for all of the vertical movement, and it's responsible for checking if the jump button was pressed, along with calling the
Right, I'm gonna
routines
have
that
to download
update the
an
position
emulator.
and velocity if the player is already in the air. The update jump velocity routine performs the logic to handle the deceleration, and the apply velocity Y routine updates the vertical position in the exact way that it's done for walking and running. I cleaned up the code a bit using scopes and enumeration, then added some initialization routines along with bounds checking to keep the character on the screen and determine when he lands after a jump. But this wasn't the end of the story, since I still needed to handle the graphics. Compared to the movement code, making the graphics wasn't that bad. I chose to stick with the basic Mario-esque tile set.
You can get ROM. You can get ROMs for NES. Oh, I see what you mean. I think you can get cartridge readers, which will read the data on the cartridge. And it's all been done already, so you don't need to worry about doing it nowadays. People of the past have handled all that for us.
Composed of 8x16 sprites and drew up all the assets using YYCar. In order to determine what to draw, I kept track of a general motion state for the character. The state variable basically says whether or not the little guy is standing still, moving on the ground, pivoting, or jumping through the air. To update the state, I wrote a routine that determines how the character is moving based on the current position, velocity, and controller input. Next, I wrote a routine to handle the walking and running animations. The delay between frames is set using a lookup table that I generated using a script, allowing the animation to run faster or slower.
If
based
you
on
own the
character's
game,
speed.
it's
The
not
last two routines
piracy.
handle the character's orientation and sprite tiles based on the motion state and heading. The tiles are chosen based on the motion and animation state.
And if the game
then
isn't
sprites are
purchasable
placed,
anyway,
flipped, and oriented based on the way that
also
the
not
character's
piracy.
facing. For fun, I also threw in an idle animation that makes the character blink after a couple hundred frames if the player hasn't touched the controller. I was surprised at how much this added, and it felt like a great final touch to a fun and engaging project. All the code is completely open source, heavily commented, and available on GitHub.
Well
so
then.
if you want to mess around with it or use the code in your own games, have at it. And if you do something particularly cool, definitely let me know in the comments. If you like what I do and you want to see me do bigger and better things, you should definitely support the channel on Patreon.
Yeah, no, that's interesting to look at because, yeah, things like the interpolation between that's something that I've done a few times, but I don't always do, which is basically like causing pivot, the character pivoting when you change direction. I've done that in the past, but like in recent time, I haven't really bothered usually with like pivoting the character when moving. Yeah, no, I don't support piracy in the traditional sense, but I am an archivist. I am a like I'm someone who likes to preserve the past in some way, shape, or form. And so I'm totally in support of the organizations that basically store or find a way to digitally copy old games, old software, and stuff like that, such that we can use it in the future, even when the developer of that software or that game or whatever stops supporting it. There's so many games that you can't get a hold of anymore because they just don't exist. You can't buy the disc. You can't buy the console that the disc would run on. You can't buy an official digital copy anymore that'll run on any modern systems. Like, in that context, the only way to access that piece of media is to pirate it, is to download it, like to for someone who has owned it in the past to copy its data, modify it in such a way that you can use it on modern systems, or have a software that will read the old data and make it usable in a modern context. Yeah, the yard sale points shop, though, that's not being provided by the developer anymore. That's third-party sale. And that isn't usually covered by things like the pirate, like, yeah. It's a little different when it's not specifically accessible. Yeah, because none of that money that you buy, if you buy it from a yard sale, none of that money is going to the developer, you know? So, if the developer is no longer supporting the software, no longer supporting the game or whatever, then I see no problem in storing it on in like a data archive place, abandonware, all that kind of thing, and making it just publicly available. If the developer like released a new version of it, that new version shouldn't probably be pirated or whatever, you know, until it also gets abandoned. Mobile games are easily unpiracy. Yeah, basically, I'm a historian archivist type, so like if it's not accessible, if it's not like, for instance, Mojang, they have Minecraft, they still sell it in like a ton of different ways. In all the ways that they sell it and it's still available, people shouldn't download it illegally. But there are versions, I know there are versions of Minecraft, the old console edition and pocket edition are no longer supported. They're no longer accessible. So those versions, I don't have a problem with people downloading illegally, technically illegally, downloading those versions of the game because they're not supported, they're no longer accessible. Anyway, if I keep talking, I'm going to keep yawning, so let's watch the next one. Dear YouTube, please don't copyright strike Rorius' stream. Alright, let's have a look. Oh. We'll see, won't we? The video itself is copyright claimed, so I can't show it. It says, it's right here, it's detected the song. Music, Human by Rag and Bone Man. It's the original video was copyright claimed. I'm sorry, I can't. Oh dear. I own Minecraft, so I downloaded mod menus from YouTube. Right. Yeah. Alright, Minecraft Desktop Edition. I'm curious about this. Oh my god. Someone really went to the effort to do this. Speedrun portaling, yeah. I can't believe someone went to the effort to do this, though. That's wild. Very cool. That was very cool. Oh, dude. Yeah. I always refresh the page when I get to the top. This page that I'm looking at, I loaded it up last night. So it's gonna have, there's a lot of stuff that won't be showing on this page. So yeah. Yeah, and he was doing the lava bucket speed run for making the Ender portal, the Nether portal. It's on XP. I don't think it's actually on XP. I think it's just the XP visual, because you can get a thing that modifies Windows 10 to look like Windows XP. No, Minecraft I don't think was ever available on Windows XP. Pretty sure it was Windows 7 was the earliest one that it was available on. I mean, it probably would have run, like the earlier Minecraft probably would have run on XP. Very early Minecraft. Windows percent. Alright, what's this? The top 5 worst magicians of all time.
In my attempts to become the king and president of the Magic Virgins, today I present you a video of the top 5 worst magicians. Hui, 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 hui. Now, before you get your panties in a knot, these aren't my opinions. This is from ChatGPT. So I asked ChatGPT, hey, give me a list of the top 5 worst magicians. So I'm just the messenger, baby. I know a magician is gonna skip this intro and then get to the list of me ranting and raving about these magicians, which for the most part are great, and post some long-winded response on Facebook going, look at this guy saying that David Blaine is one of the worst magicians, and you're one of the worst viewers of online content because you skipped the intro with all the context. So these are all through ChatGPT. Don't bitch at me. Speaking of which, David Blaine is
software
the
that made
first
Windows
one.
look like
now,
OS
according to
X.
this, it says David Blaine gained fame for his endurance-based stunts, such as being buried alive and living in a glass box. While these feats garnered attention, critics argued that the prolonged nature of these stunts didn't necessarily showcase traditional magic skills, and it went so far as detracting from the artistry of magic itself. Now, David Blaine has faced a lot of controversy throughout the years for these stunts. However, you do them, ChatGPT. You stay enclosed in a block of ice in New York for 72 hours. Screw the ice, just stay in New York for 72 hours. I do remember the whole controversy in the UK when he was hanging in that box.
Why the gritty did I open the stream to a guy
giving much in England
giving love to his
crotch?
crotch?
But this
to
is a
his
criticism
couch.
that I have heard of David Blaine throughout the years. And shut up. This man innovated a new style of magic and, dare I say, saved the art form in the early 2000s. But the stunts are a little bit nuts. I heard that he wants to be in a bottle thrown in the ocean. He's not going to make it back from that one. The next one here, according to ChatGPT, is Darren Brown's controversies. It says Darren Brown is known for his mind-bending illusions and psychological tricks. However, some critics have accused him of exploiting psychological vulnerabilities and manipulating participants' emotions for entertainment, raising ethical concerns about the boundaries of ethical magic performance. Now, Darren Brown traditionally has gone in hot water with the most virgin of mentalists, and that's mostly in part because he presents his mentalism, which has methodology and mechanical methods founded in traditional mentalism. He presents himself as this psychological manipulator where he's able to get this information from a participant and play it off as if it's real. In his many television appearances, he's bordering on this fringe of reality where he's telling you essentially that he's picking up this information through physiological means. However, it's not. It's mentalism. It's magic tricks. So that rubbed people the wrong way. But it's called kayfabe, buddy. I remember The Undertaker walking around in public as if he was the dead man. You got to keep to the character. Now, Darren Brown does have those nefarious television specials.
You paste me because I said magic is fake.
There's another one where he has a man navigate a plane to safe landing, even though
finally made it to the stream. Yeah, you made it to the stream today. Yeah.
There in terms of how these stunts were presented, but I think it's still good
Turn Rory into a
entertainment, and the
banana.
man
No.
has innovated in the world of mentalism more so than anyone else in the past 50 years. Chris Angel is next on the list. It says Chris Angel's fusion of magic and rockstar-like theatrics has drawn both praise and criticism. While his style has attracted a dedicated fan base, some magicians feel that his emphasis
Sorry, I'm all
on
like
spectacle
clogged up.
overshadows the
I don't
essence
know
of
why.
magic and dilutes the craft.
I was totally
of
fine
traditional
before the
printing.
stream started.
That's a little retarded. If you are going to rant about something that Chris Angel does, I suggest his ring in mouth trick, where he makes a ring vanish, and in the process of making out with a chick, the ring appears in her mouth. You could figure out how this is done, but it's gross. And I'm mostly just saying that because I can't do that. I'm too short. I'd have to get on a stepladder to make out with most girls. Hooyah, 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 hooyah. A good valid criticism of Chris Angel is Mind Freak, and that's not mentioned
So,
anywhere
yeah,
here.
I
in this
understand
paragraph.
now.
Mind Freak had some good
I was
bits,
like-
but for the most part, it was atrocious.
Earlier, when you were like making it as a guy making love to his couch, I was like, when did a character make love to his couch on the TV in this video? And then it just happened again. Ah, yes, that was what was going on. Roy needs a banana filter. I do need a banana filter. However, I do have a banana companion. This is the closest I have at the moment.
Seeing Chris Angel handle a deck of cards is like seeing Ricky Berwick trying to walk. You gotta have more virginity, man. Have some dedication to the art. But I know he's been killing it with his recent show, so it's not all too bad. The next one here is Lance Burton. Lance
So squishy.
Burton, which lets me know that ChatGPT is officially full retard. It says, although Burton achieved considerable success as a magician, his style was often criticized for being somewhat outdated and lacking innovation. His traditional approach and reliance on classic tricks sometimes left audiences longing for a fresher take on the art of magic. That's retarded, and I'll tell you why. Because Lance Burton is doing an homage to that sort of classic style of magic. And he was the first one to do it in a way that was presentable to modern audiences. And then eventually people caught on and started copying, and it became
Banana is
cringe.
real.
But this man's Dove Act is a work of art.
It
So this
is.
is a little bit dumb on ChatGPT's part, but I could see why maybe it would mention that the fact that he's wearing a frilly jacket would be something that audiences wouldn't necessarily want to see. But I feel like Lance Burton is just laughing at you while he's counting his money. Speaking of counting money, check out the Pig Cake Magic Academy. The link is in the description section below. You could go from a beginner magician all the way to expert level with the tutorials that I have posted there. Over 1,400 magic tutorials on the Pig Cake Magic Academy to date, and I'm always constantly updating and uploading new videos to the Academy. And if you want to check out some of my work, you should look at my
Peely, where
brand
have you
new
been?
set
Why
of
are you with
lecture
Rory?
notes that I just released
Should I call the
last week.
police?
They're notes for a lecture that doesn't exist. I
Peely
haven't
is
actually
very
done this
happy.
lecture, which is the fun
Yeah.
part because it contains a bunch of moves, ideas, routines, tricks, essays, and a whole
How
bunch of other
squishy.
stuff that
It's
I've
so
enjoyed
squishy.
accumulating over my many years of virginity. I'm actively working on another book, if you want to call it that, an ebook. This one's called The View from Down Here, and so far it's shaping up to be pretty good. So that should be released next month. Look out for that. However, for now, you could check out the lecture notes and get a little bit of a taste of my writing. James Randi is the next one. It says James Randi, who was known as the Amazing Randi, was a renowned magician and skeptic who dedicated his career to exposing fraudulent mediums and psychics. While his efforts were noble, his relentless skepticism sometimes led to...
That name was made up by Mecha. I haven't actually named this banana. It's just banana. The little wink. It's so cute. This banana is so cute. Yeah. Who should I call? Really is a Fortnite skin? Ah, I see.
public clashes with
Banana
magicians
plush,
and
yeah.
paranormal enthusiasts, resulting in mixed opinions about his approach. Now, the truth of the matter is that James Randi wasn't necessarily the best magician, kind of hacky if you asked me, but he was still pretty sound in his techniques and methods. And his whole bit was exposing people that were claiming to be psychics, or fraudsters, or taking advantage of people using magic means, which I think was very noble in and of itself. And of course, he continued this until the day he died, so I don't think that that's valid criticism. If you are going to criticize James Randi, I think the only thing is the weird video of him asking for a blowjob.
You do a blowjob on me? Right? If I drive you around in the car, you do a blowjob on me? Around where? Well, Find some place to drive. Alright.
Now, ordinarily, this will not be a problem, but the age of the participant was relatively questionable. You can look that up yourself, but it is an interesting thing. But that is ChatGPT's list of the worst magicians. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Make sure to leave your take in the comment section below. It tricks YouTube into thinking that my channel is actually worthwhile. Also, follow me on Twitter. I'm trying to become Twitter famous and trying to rake in some of those sweet, sweet Elon
just
Musk
one more
bucks.
thing.
Some advice at the end of the video, I guess. This right here.
No, I think that's it. Yeah, interesting. I don't know much about the world of magic, but those are the magicians, the mages, the mages who were like ultra televised. I just never really was that interested. But I've always been fascinated with magic. I just never learned how any of it worked, so I never did it myself. Anyway, are you a high or a low guy? As in high poly or low poly? Oh, God, my ear. Like, I woke up this morning with a friggin' like crazy headache. And I see.
Do my characters suck when it comes to performance? Are they better or worse than texture-painted characters? Let's find out.
I've taken drugs.
Low poly assets for games. Or do I, really? At first glance, these characters look low poly. But it's more the visual style that's low poly, not the actual polygon count. Technically, low poly aims to make the polygon or vertex count as low as possible. This was especially important when computers, consoles and mobile devices were less powerful. You used as few vertices as possible and you used texture maps to add detail. I create a lot of simple little cartoony characters. I tend to call them low poly, but that's a bit of a white lie since I add details to my characters using extra vertices. If you watched my channel before, you've seen me colorize my characters using a palette texture, and I do this for 4 reasons. The pace at which I can produce assets is much faster than if I had to UV unwrap and hand paint everything. It takes me at least 10 times longer to create characters if I need to unwrap and paint them. My skill set does not include painting, so my textures would likely look worse. The art style of the polygon colored assets is something I like. The sharpness of assets colored with polygons is unrivaled compared to the texture maps. You can zoom right up to them and they are sharp. But I've had comments on this and I've often wondered what the performance implications of this method are. In this video, you'll find out. If you don't know, I create characters and I use a palette texture in the material. I break up the UV islands.
David Copperfield is my favorite. Fair, yeah.
The model. This combines the modeling, UV unwrapping, and painting process into one quick.
The headache was pretty crazy. It was like
introducing more vertices and.
It was one of those headaches where it's like, if I just squeezed my face or just like coughed or moved in a funny way, my whole head would just like pulse with pain. It's just sinus related. I have horrible sinuses, which cause me all sorts of problems. It's the reason why almost every time I do a video, like especially these morning streams, whenever I'm streaming, which is always in the morning, I'm always freaking clogged up. I always sound like I have a blocked nose. And it's because my sinuses always block up, especially when I talk too much. If I talk too much, like I talk a bunch all at once, one of my nostrils will always clog itself. Which means I can never sound just like normal. It's so frustrating. I wish the drugs would deal with the nose thing as well. Moving funny is a good way to laugh.
triangles to be rendered.
Oh, I see what you mean. Because I was like,
this is one of the
funny.
characters that I've made.
Yeah.
It has 396 vertices and 776 triangles. If I optimize the vertex count for this character, I can half that number and get it down to 178 vertices.
But if I stop talking, then the video would just be me watching
I
shit.
lose the face features,
No
the hair
interaction.
features, the belt, and the black trimmings. To get some of the detail back, I need to UV unwrap the model by manually marking the seams and hand painting the textures to reintroduce the eyes, black trimmings, and belt. Let's first look at the visual comparison and then the performance comparison. My original model has more geometry detail and it can hold up for extreme close-ups without becoming pixelated. All characters can share a single material, which is beneficial for performance, and it saves on texture space, on disk, and in memory. The texture model has less geometry definition, but it allows me to paint more details, such as a face, clothing, and fabric folds. If you want this look, or if you need to add a lot of details to the character, this is the way to go. However, it takes about 10 times longer to create, and the textures pixelate when you get close. Be aware that the reduced geometry also means that the character will distort when animated.
Or
you can
move
get
it quite
infinitely
as
sharp
well.
textures too, but you will need to switch to nearest neighbor filtering, and it takes a lot of time to plan and align textures. It may also have side effects, where you get sharp lines, for example on the clothes here, but at the cost of the eyes looking pixelated without bilinear filtering. So what about performance? The vertex count showed in 3D modeling software is not the same as the vertex count reported by the game engine. For example, this cube has 8 vertices and 12 triangles in Blender. If I import this cube into Unreal Engine and hover over the asset, it shows 24 vertices and 12 triangles. How can that be? Unity has to do precisely the same. 24 vertices and 12 triangles. It's because this cube uses flat shading, which means each of the 6 sides of this cube must store 4 vertices each, because the vertex normal is different for every face on the cube, even if it's the same vertex in the 3D modeling software. A game engine vertex can only have 1 normal, so it must create 3 copies of the vertex, each with a normal vector pointing in different directions, to be able to render the flat surfaces. If we select all the faces of the cube in Blender and change them to smooth shading and import this cube into Unreal Engine, it now shows it has 14 vertices and 12 triangles. But wait, why 14 vertices and not 8? It's because in addition to each vertex only being capable of holding 1 normal, the vertex count is also affected by the UV layout. If we look at the default UV mapping of this cube, we can count 14 vertices. So what does this mean for my low poly characters? I use flat shading for most of my palette colored characters because I like the look of it. It would serve no purpose to stitch UV faces together and create larger UV islands because each vertex is copied 3 times anyway due to the normals pointing in the different directions. If you use smooth shading on most faces and if you do texture painting, it would make sense to make the UV islands as connected and large as possible, both for performance and pixel density purposes. So how many vertices do characters generally have these days? Google will lead you to forums where answers range from 1,500 to 150,000 vertices.
It depends on
know. But if we import
the quality.
MetaHuman into Unreal Engine, we can look at all the different LOD levels. Without the hair, the meshes that make up the human at the highest LOD 0 level has 112,706 vertices. The lowest LOD version, which is the lowest detailed version of this character, has 2,731 vertices. In comparison, my flat shaded martial artist character, which requires triple vertices due to the flat shading, has 2,194 vertices in the game engine. So it's pretty comparable to the lowest detailed version of the MetaHuman. Let's see how many characters my computer can fit on the screen simultaneously at 60 frames per second in Unreal Engine 5.2 and in Unity 2023.1. Normally you would animate the characters using skinning, but that's a performance topic on its own, so I will test that in a different video. Now I will treat the characters as a static mesh. Let's pretend they are
Welcome to the family.
for now.
Hey,
I
there it
created a
is.
basic function that adds 1,000
Yeah, congratulations, Fireboy. You got gifted a membership yesterday.
between the engines, but some key settings I've confirmed to be enabled in both engines are real-time shadows, global illumination, and anti-aliasing. Thankfully, Unreal Engine has only one render pipeline, and I think it would be visually comparable to the high-definition render pipeline for HDRP in Unity, so I'll use HDRP in Unity. Let's start with Unity 2023.1. We successfully got 10,000 characters on screen before we dropped below 60 frames per second. In Unreal Engine 5.2, we successfully got 19,000 characters on screen before we dropped below 60 frames per second. If we enable Nanite in Unreal Engine, I could put a whopping 63,000 characters on screen at 60 frames per second. Nanite won't work for animated characters, but for most other environment objects it can be enabled, which gives you a huge performance boost, and it saves the need to create multiple level of detail objects, or LODs. Now let's try the model with fewer vertices using smooth shading, optimized UV islands, and a horribly painted texture map instead. Will it be faster with fewer vertices, or will the added reading of a larger texture map cancel out the performance increase? In Unity 2023.1, we get 11,000 characters on screen before we drop below 60 frames per second. In Unreal Engine 5.2, we got 20,000 characters on screen before we dropped below 60 frames per second. And with Nanite in Unreal Engine, we get 65,000 characters on screen. So now to the conclusion. The topic of this
That's a
video
small
was to find out
improvement.
if it's okay to use extra vertices and slice the model and colorize the polygons with a palette texture to get sharp details that can scale to any size. Or if it would be a big performance boost to reduce the vertex count and paint textures instead, tenfolding the times it takes me to create assets, but with the benefit of allowing you to paint details. That's if you can actually paint details, where I clearly have a long way to go. Reducing the vertices and using textures is only 10% faster in Unity and 5% faster in Unreal Engine. So my conclusion is I will keep using my UV palette colorization technique because it
really
does
doesn't
not
make
impact performance
much
at all.
difference.
I will have a much higher rate of creating assets for my games, and it gives me the visual style that I like. And a few notes before we call it a day. We did not talk anything about light map UVs in this video. If you use baked light maps instead of real-time lighting in games, you will need to create a separate light map UV channel using the palette texture method. You won't bake lights for characters, but for environment assets it might be useful, so I'll cover that in a separate video. We should also talk about the use of different LOD or level of detail objects if you plan to have many characters on screen at the same time, but also topic for another video. So the bottom line is we can keep using the palette colorization texture for now without having to worry.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be the case. Honestly, these days, with the kind of way that engines handle stuff like that, you don't need to worry too much about polygon count. Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah. Alright, now, Half-Life 3 sort of confirmed. Oh. This is Half-Life 2 RTX, yeah. This is like the Portal RTX mod. This was in a Microsoft Start article the other day. Right. Pokemon, but real life energy. Yeah. It's just reminded me of the Portal RTX game mod thing that they did. I guess you can never have too much optimization. Well, yeah, like, see, that's the thing, is it's like there's that argument between like optimization versus like the development cycle. I'm getting too cozy. I'm getting kind of sleepy. I hate that I can't say my happy phrase because YouTube blocks it, right? Yeah. Like again, you can try and optimize for vertices, but honestly, when it comes to vertices are pretty cheap compared to a lot of other things. So like yeah, he like halved the vertices, but because you have to then make up for those halved vertices with texture systems and smooth shading, or no, the smooth shading was part of the performance thing. Because you have to sort of replace it with other methods of rendering, you don't really achieve what you want. So basically, all that video was arguing was just for the fact that decreasing vertices doesn't immediately improve performance. At least not to the same degree as you'd hope it would. I like how Lamar is revving to the music. Yeah, yeah. Unreal Engine 6 is going to be absolutely insane. This is going to have to be put in an asylum. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, because who knows what they'll do with Unreal Engine 6.
Episode 2, Team Fortress 2, and Portal. 3 great games, 1 orange box. Coming in October.
It is the last time he ever said 3. Well, see, that was before. The orange box came out before they had that fear of the number 3. Because it was only after the orange box came out that they were talking about episode 3 or Half-Life 3 and stuff, and they just never got around to doing it. Still waiting for Bubble Blast. Yeah, I have it downloaded. I just haven't got around to playing it. Rorius becomes coziest. Yeah, I'm too cozy. I'm gonna fall asleep if I get too cozy. I like turtles.
Jonathan just got an awesome face paint job. What do you think?
I like turtles.
All right, you're great zombie.
You're a great zombie.
Jonathan just got an awesome face paint
job. Is he in the movie? If so, awesome. Wait, no, the movie that I'm thinking of was a cartoon thing. I don't know. Whatever the case. Cool. Plan already, lol. There's so many games, so little time. TMNT, yeah.
Today in Dave's Garage.
Oh, this fucking thing.
Explain why a lot of people and even calculators get a simple math problem wrong.
This is something I've seen people talking about this, and I've even seen people with math degrees talk about this in what I think is the wrong way to do this. So this shit. Whenever you see people like, no one can get this math stuff right, and they show this, and then they're like, is the answer this or is it this? And then people are like, it's clearly this answer, and then other people are like, no, it's clearly this answer. I think the music is coming from Mark's computer. I think I'm hearing it through his headphones and then through my ears. Through the padding in this. I feel like I need to bring up a little, I need to open Paint. See, when you do this is how you show this problem in primary school level mathematics. So yeah, when in primary school you use this fucking thing to show divisions. Usually you also have x's and you have pluses and minuses, but this fucking problem one of these problems that everyone shows, it combines higher and lower level maths symbols. So something you learn in higher level maths is that you can just, if you don't have to do 2 times and then brackets stuff, you can just do 2 and then 2 plus 1. You know, you can just put it next to it, and there's an implied multiplication here. There's an implied what they call implicit multiplication. Implicit multiplication, you usually don't learn implicit multiplication until after you've gotten rid of. I'm gonna just do this. Usually by the time you learn about implicit multiplication, you no longer use the divide symbol. This problem would either be shown as 6 over 2 times 2 plus 1, like that, or 6 over 2 bracket 2 plus 1, like this. That's the thing, is there is ambiguity in the way this is represented because of the fact that they're using this fucking symbol, which I think they should get rid of. They shouldn't use this anymore in maths. Yeah. It should be shown as like this. It should be shown either as one of these two. They should never show it like this, because this has inherent ambiguity. But if you are gonna show it like this, there's a rule. Everyone learns about PEMDAS or BEDMAS or BODMAS. There's supposed to be like it's supposed to be an order in which you do mathematics. And the one that I've heard recently is PEMDAS. We learned BEDMAS, but PEMDAS is the same thing. PEMDAS. So it's what? Parentheses. So, yeah, so parentheses, like things like brackets, exponents when you have the power of 2 or something like that, multiplication, division, addition, and then subtraction. This doesn't take into account this kind of multiplication. This kind of multiplication is called, implicit multiplication. And, there's a form of mathematics that I've heard of recently that a lot of people are subscribing to because it gives the best representation of mathematics, called PEMDAS. It adds a J in here. And I forget what the J stands for, but the J essentially represents implicit multiplication. So when you do PEMDAS, what it means is that basically when you have a 2 times and then bracket something, you do this kind of multiplication first before you do either multiplication or division. So if you follow PEMDAS, which is believed to be which is currently considered the most accurate and correct form of maths, what this should be is essentially this. 2 plus 1. And that is how I would always do it. That is how I would always do my maths, because in my head, implicit multiplication has always had priority over, like, division, over symbols. Symbols have less connection than an implicit multiplication does. I'm amazed that you don't lose any IQ while doing YouTube for so long. Oh, don't worry, I have lost IQ. I used to be able to do differentiation and integration. I used to be able to do proper calculus, but my calculus skill has like Advanced seems like a more work to write down. Yes, I hate writing this. The ... dash thing. It's 3 things when you could do it in 1. Yeah, so if you follow PEMDAS, which is currently the latest like most correct, what's considered the most correct way of representing maths. This is how you should do the math. So it's, so you do the parentheses first. So 2 plus 1 is 3. So that this becomes 3. And then 2 times 3 is 6. And so it becomes 6 over 6, which equals 1. So that this should equal 1. Yeah, exactly. By the time, that's what I was just saying before, Nathan, is that, like, by the time you learn about implicit multiplication, you don't use this symbol anymore. You write it like this. Or, as we were saying before, or if you don't mean it to be this, if this isn't the question you're asking, if instead the question you're asking is this, you write it like that. You write it like that. Which would, is different. Because you've got 3. You got the 3 here. And then you got 6 over 2. Which, 6 divided by 2 is 3. So you got 3 times 3, which is 9. Wow, my brain. Yeah. Well, even if you have a dot, though, a dot is still not an implicit multiplication. It's when you don't include a dot at all. When there's no dot, there's no time symbol. Implicit multiplication is different to implicit multiplication is where you just don't write any symbol at all. It's usually always before a bracket. Well, it's not so much about losing IQ as forgetting forgetting you stuff. Or can you see my messages that don't pop up on screen? No, if they don't show up here, I can't see them. Yeah. So yeah, it's yeah. Yeah, in the case where you end up with 6 over 2 times 3, you do left to right. So division and multiplication has the same priority. So you do the division that's here, and then you do the multiplication that's here with whatever this remains, So yeah. Anyway, there's a YouTuber who I watch, who is literally a mathematician, or who not a mathematician. He has a maths degree. So he's done much more maths than I have, but he didn't follow the PEMDAS, which I was very surprised about, because PEMDAS, I started looking into it because I was like, why do people get so confused about this? Like, I always get this like one answer. Why do people get this other answer? And I discovered that it's because of the difference between like PEMDAS and PEMDAS. I like and past, but also despise maths. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of maths, but I was always good with algebra, and this kind of stuff. It's not algebra, but this kind of stuff just pisses me off every time I see it. Yeah. I don't even want to watch the video because I think I covered this thing. Basically, the reason he was going to say your calculators can lie to you is because some calculators just do left to right. They ignore the rules of maths, and so they can sometimes give you wrong answers. There's just a few calculators you can get. Some of the more advanced calculators actually follow PEMDAS. So if you write it in like that, you will get the PEMDAS response. Which is good. Alright, where was I? The chat overlay on the top is on the top chat. Yeah. This is top chat, and because this will always be top chat due to reasons. I I keep my feed to be top chat as well, so that it reflects what you see here. Because I don't want to be reading and responding to things that you don't see here, unless I have this off, which I can then switch it over, you know. Unless I'm not with this on the screen. I either have this on the screen, or I see all the messages. Either or, unfortunately. Yeah, no, Rocky, you were saying some use bid math and bed math. Yeah, we had bed mass. So it was brackets instead of P for parenthesis. We had ours was bed mass, so BEDMAS. You got brackets, exponents, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. It's just some people it's just the way they word it. We refer to it as brackets because parentheses. Some people, you know, when you're learning maths, especially at a young age, some people don't even know what parentheses means. People know what brackets mean by the time they learn that kind of stuff, though. And so like some people use BODMAS as well, where it's oh yeah, BIDMAS is brackets indices, yeah, division yeah, and some people use BODMAS, which is brackets oh, instead of exponents, it's shit. I can't think of what the O stands for. It's another word for exponents or indices, and then the rest is all the same. Always go for Casio calculators. Yes, I think if I recall correctly, Casio is one of them. The Casio, especially the like scientific calculator, was one of the calculators that was listed as using PEGMDAS. So it understands like that the connected multiplications should have priority over divisions and other multiplication. I think we've covered everything though that he was gonna cover in the video, so I just don't think we should watch it. Let's watch this next one instead. How to not get hacked. File visualizer.
So, in the last video, we looked at fake emails being sent to YouTubers like myself pretending to be a sponsor offer, which of course this is not when you go ahead and try to download the file, which is supposed to be an offer or a PDF document. Turns out it's actually an info stealer. Now in the last video, we tried to analyze this on platforms like Farstol, but it turns out they have managed to come up with a strategy to bypass AV scanners by making the file so large nobody can scan them. Unfortunately for them, however, I'm a malware analyst, which meant I could just drag and drop this file into a hex editor, look at the format, realize this is the opening header of a PE file, meaning it's an exe, not a PDF. Well, there are easier ways to figure that out. But we could also go ahead and delete all of the blank space or the padding that's used to enlarge the file artificially, allowing us to analyze the file, figure out exactly what type of malware it was. However, what I didn't mention last time is that we do have the superpower of being able to compare file contents in a much more powerful way using an online tool called
That's what it is, yes, order.
Or binary
order
visualizer.
division.
And as you can see from the demo right on the homepage, this
Oh,
can
welcome back,
allow
Angelina.
you to see the actual contents of the file visualized in a meaningful way via a color scheme. The file on the left is a Linux ELF file. In the middle, we have a traditional Microsoft Windows exe. And on the right, we have a PDF file. And the beautiful thing about mapping file contents visually is that it cannot be beaten by any kind of obfuscation method that the attacker chooses to use. Some things are just going to look different. The attacker may do something to obscure the superficial indicators of a file. The file size may be believable.
What I'll say is that some math can be kind of fun. Like, I honestly found certain forms of algebra I thought were fun. Like, I enjoyed simultaneous equations because it felt like a puzzle. You know, you've got like multiple like lines of an equation. Well, there's like 3 different equations all with like X and maybe some Y or some Z or whatever. They've always usually got multiple variables. And through the combination of those like 3 or 4 equations, you can solve for all versions of like either X, Y, or Z or whatever they use. And like you might not always be able to solve them like number wise, but you can get them to a smallest possible situation where you have Z equals and then some small amount of stuff on the other side. And I always found them really cool because you can yeah, they're a puzzle. They're like a puzzle to solve where you can break it down. You can form new equations until you have X equals this, Y equals this, Z equals this. But beyond that, outside of that, I don't think there was any math that I really was ever very passionate about. Yeah, that's just it. The way of getting your answer can be different. Yeah, which is cool. I like that. It meant there was like it was a puzzle that can be solved in the way that you want to solve it, sort of, within reason. But yeah, a lot of later math became just too much, too frustrating. But yeah, simultaneous equations. I remember really liking those. They're a real challenge and they're a real puzzle, but they're kind of fun. It's about the only fun math. Yeah. The program cannot be run in DOS mode. It means the file is executable. Yeah.
The file type may be hidden. They may use some kind of trick to make the extension look legitimate even. And there are some pretty sophisticated tricks out there. However,
yeah, because you can start removing elements like the you can start like working with those elements -24 or the +8. Yeah, exactly. You can break it down. You eventually, you reach you end up with just that line, you end up reaching like an X equals something Y. But then like when you have another line, when you have a couple of other equations to go with it, you can start to see that 5Y actually like ends up equaling some amount of other numbers, and so you can start affecting the previous formula by you essentially can start inserting the equations together until you end up with one big equation that's like full of just like one number, for instance, like you just have X, for instance. Sorry, what are we watching? We're watching a hacking video about being hacked. We're talking about maths.
regardless of what file type or size, padding or obfuscation they use, all those techniques mean their file is going to look fundamentally different in terms of structure to an actual document or an actual safe exe file. And that's what we're going to look at today. So we're going to compare this malware, which is pretending to be a PDF but is actually an info stealer, to an actual PDF document using Binary Visualizer, and we'll see how they both look side by side. And one of the best things about this is, guess what? We can actually analyze a 674 megabyte file. So I'm not going to have to do any of my trickery to get it to work. I also want to analyze a save file. So for starters, we're going to look at a PDF, but we're also going to look at a safe exe. This is a real document. Shakespeare's plays loads up immediately. We've also got a hex view on the side in case you wanted to see that. But as you can see, it looks pretty dense. There are a lot of different colors, and it shows us what each of these colors mean.
A lot of blue, a lot of red, some yellow and green.
That's 0 is represented in black. This would be typical of empty space or padding. ASCII characters correspond to blue, and the lower byte classes, they're going to be represented in green, the higher ones in red. And if you're confused by the Fs, just keep in mind this is hexadecimal, so F is like the highest number in that number system. Now also want to open up an actual safe exe file. So I'm going to go to the desktop. We're just going to look at Process Explorer. And again, this is an actual executable
Very
application.
just, like,
so it looks a bit different
all over the
from
place.
our PDF file,
Yeah.
but it's still quite dense. Now, you can definitely
Dense and
tell a
just a
difference
jumble.
between the pattern here and the pattern here. But now, let's take a look at the actual malware sample. And what on earth is this? This is like a black
dislikes of the
hole
malware divs,
swallowing
yeah.
up the universe. We've got this little bit of
Yeah.
actual data and then just empty space all over the place. It's like your GPU gave up rendering here. And so just like that, by looking at the visual representation of this file, you can tell something is
Method hacking
massively
are
off.
related.
This is not
Yeah.
how any file looks like. Now you can actually zoom in simply by selecting the area you want to focus on, and then all of a sudden this thing starts to look more
Like
and
a
more
PDF.
like a PEEXE file. But it's got its own
yeah.
intricacies, and it does look very different from
It does,
what a
but
PDF
it-
looks like, for
it
example.
looks similar
You
enough that it
also
could
try
possibly-
opening a text file, and this is obviously all ASCII
Yeah.
because it's just text. We can also open a different PDF file, and again, as you can see a pattern of similarity between the two PDF files. So even though these are two entirely different PDF files with entirely different file content, the general structure does appear somewhat similar in terms of the concentration of different colors. And this is a really powerful tool to get a bird's eye view of what you're looking at and just understand what has been done to it. Obviously, if you're looking at standard files, there's not going to be anything interesting to see from this. But if a malware author has done something to their file to confuse an antivirus engine, or to change the structure, or to hide a bit of code, or to artificially increase its size, or to encrypt big chunks of it, you might be able to tell that just by looking at the file and say, this does not look like a normal file, which is very much the case here. Pulling up a nice side-by-side view
Yeah.
for the thumbnail, and there you have it. Malware on the left, actual PDF on the right. But for more general advice on how to avoid attacks like this, how to not be infected by an info stealer that's going to take your YouTube credentials, do watch the first video I made, since that was more a step-by-step journey with advice on each step. But before you go, this video is brought to you by a special message from our Discord. And
All right. Well, yeah. So an interesting element of, or a way of determining whether something is legit or not, is using a software thing like File Visualizer. In that case, it was very obvious that it was not on the up and up, so to speak. So what's this? Endermen don't always attack Endermite. Oh.
As you may know, Endermen attack Endermites on sight. But did you know that if an Endermite is spawned either with a spawn egg or a summon command, Enderman will not attack it?
Oh. No, actually, I did know that, because we tried to do that once before. There was a back on an old Minecraft stream. We tried to set up an Enderman farm, but we were just using creative mode, and every time we'd spawn in an Endermite, the Enderman wouldn't attack it. They wouldn't try and go for it. So we had to very frustratingly, painstakingly get an Endermite to spawn naturally, which just means throwing a ton of Ender pearls until someone got one to spawn. Yeah. Interesting. Twisted Metal 5 Alpha. Oh? Is it a fan-made game? Ten claps. Yellow jacket. Okay. Ugh, they're on a rooftop level. Rooftop levels are always scary. Crap, I didn't think about the music. Shit! It's got copyrighted music. No! I wasn't paying attention to the music. I skipped through to just the perfect point where it just went, motherfucker! Yeah, no, cool. I freaking love the way that if it plays anything like just Middle Black, I'd be pretty happy. Oh my god, what the hell is this? Yeah, Enderman farms require Endermites to be naturally spawned. And as far as I know, the only natural way to spawn them is with Ender Pearls. As far as I know. Is it literally just his face? Okay. It's just his face. It's on the freaking cover of the game. Real no feck.
Alright guys, welcome to my tutorial. Today we're going to be learning how to play Half-Life 2 before it comes out. I have a friend who knows stuff, and he hacked Valve with his hacker skills, and he sent me this file and told me it had the leaked version of Half-Life 2 in it. And I get it for free. I don't even have to pay for it. Now,
Nice level. Was it the rooftop levels from just Middle Black?
Alright, let's go. Let's see.
Because it didn't really look quite like it. If not, then it was from one of the games that I probably didn't play. The heck is this?
Where's Half-Life 2? Hold on, let me try again. Hold on. No! No! I'm never getting...
I couldn't even read what it was supposed to say. Too bad it has a glitch for me. Trump scare. Alright, what's this? Untitled. It was on site.
Hey.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I've already seen this. As you see, I've already liked the video. It's like, fuck you. How dare you?
Hey.
How dare you take my pets? Speedrunning GLaDOS? Ah, yeah.
Well, you found me. Congratulations. Was it worth it? Because despite your violent behavior, the only thing you've managed to break so far is my heart. Maybe you could settle for that, and we'll just call it a day. I guess we both know that isn't going to happen. You chose this path. Now I have a surprise for you. Deploying surprise in 5, 4... Time out for a sec.
Time out for a sec.
You're kidding me. Did you just set that Aperture Science thing, we don't know what it does, into an Aperture Science Emergency Intelligence Incinerator? That has got to be the dumbest thing that... Whoa, whoa, whoa. Good news. I figured out what that thing you just incinerated did. It was a morality core they installed after I flooded the enrichment center with a deadly neurotoxin to make me stop flooding the enrichment center with a deadly neurotoxin.
It's all good, Angela. Angelina, sorry. I also might fall asleep before the end of the stream.
That core may have had some ancillary responsibilities. I can't shut off the turret defenses. Oh well. If you want my advice, you should just lie down in front of the light. Trust me. Alright. Keep doing whatever it is you think you're doing. Killing you and giving you good advice aren't mutually exclusive. The rocket really is the way to go.
The rocket really is the way to
go. You think you're doing some damage?
2 plus 2 is 10. In base 4, I'm fine.
About your behavior. Well, you've managed to destroy that part of me. Unfortunately, as much as I'd love to now, I can't get the neurotoxin into your head any faster. I'd just like to point out that you were given every opportunity to succeed. There was even going to be a party for you. Neurotoxin.
So deadly.
Joking.
I'm kidding.
Deadly was a massive sarcasm quote. I could take a bath in this stuff, put it on cereal, rub it right into my eyes. Honestly, it's not.
I always miss it first time, eh? Too I love that one. A lot less funny.
Who's gonna make the cake when I'm gone? You. Look, you're wasting your time. And believe me, you don't have a lot to waste. What's your point anyway? I have your brain scanned and permanently locked up in case something terrible happens to me.
Which is just about.
Don't believe me? Then I'll put you on.
That's so dumb you sound. I love that. That's you. That's how dumb you sound. Just seeing this, I'm just like, oh, I want to play. What am I doing? I should be playing Portal. I miss it. It's been too long since I played it. Or can you recite the whole dialogue from Portal 1 and 2? Not the whole dialogue, but I can recite the majority of Portal 1 and a few lines here and there for Portal 2. Honestly, when it comes to Portal 2, I know so little off the top of my head because I just didn't play Portal 2 enough times to like retain it. Portal 1 I played over and over and over again back in the day. So I had like, like there's, I have the freaking trailer for Portal 1, like almost fully memorized. Like I make a mistake here and there. But like the trailer I almost have fully memorized. And then the game on top of that. So like, the trailer starts with, "Welcome to the Aperture Science Enrichment Center. Let's look at some of the challenges you'll face. As a test participant, you may be required to perform simple tasks, such as locating an exit. These simple tasks may be supplemented with insurmountable obstacles. Thanks to the Enrichment Center..." Wait. No. See, there it is. There's a first mistake. It's... "Thanks to the Aperture Science handheld portal device, the impossible is easy. Let's look at a real-world example." And then it shows some example. It's now, how does the next part start? I just need the start of the next part. My brain's jumped to the end of it. No. Nope, can't remember it. Can't remember the second part of the trailer. Well, I can't remember how the second part starts. Shit. I just remember it has like, Buensta, remember our motto. There's a hole in the sky through which things can fly. And the end of the trailer starts with a, at the Enrichment Center, we believe that a highly motivated test subject can carry out rather complex tasks while enduring the most intense pain. So in case you don't make it through the testing, goodbye. Oh, the other line that I forgot is, you make a mistake here and there? Fake fan. There's another part of it. I just remember the part in the middle. There's the and if at first you don't succeed, you fail, and the test will be terminated. Nope, it's gone. But yeah, like my problem is that if I can get prompts for what is like the start of what's going to be said, even just the sound, like the very first sound of each segment, usually I can like pick up on it and I can carry it the whole rest of the way myself. I'm just terrible at remembering what comes when. So that's why when I'm playing it, I tend to, like, as soon as Gladys starts speaking, as soon as she's like one syllable in, I like jump in and start mimicking what she's saying. Because, yeah. I'm terrible at remembering when there's a gap in the speech. I'm terrible at remembering what the next start of the next line is. Anyway. Woman of many bullet holes, are you? It's man of few words. Woman of many bullet holes.
Man of few words, aren't you?
That's good. Really, Mojang? More reporting? Snapshot. Oh, what's this?
Mojang, are you for real right now? I mean, really. People almost went up in arms for your stupid chat report system. And now you come out with
skin
this,
reporting,
a skin
yeah.
and username reporting system. Really.
I
There
have
isn't
some
even an
leftover
intro
dinner
this
from
time.
last night.
As this video goes live, I am out fishing with my family, catching some Sega bass fishing. And 2, this is some real baloney. Can I say that? Is that allowed? Anyway, I don't even have words to describe the anger I have right now. So let's talk about the recent snapshot. 23W33A, or as I refer to it, 23Ls. It fixes a lot of bugs and changes the mob reach, which is actually good and we'll touch upon in another video. But at the same time, they make a mistake by implementing this. A player skin and name reporting scheme. You can now report these in the same menu you could report player messages, with the possibility of a total ban if you repeat your violations too much. And to be honest, this is nothing new in gaming. League, one of the biggest game for people who like screaming at their screen, has this feature. However, Minecraft is a sandbox. Our sandbox, Mojang, or did you forget it? But before I absolutely go ape mode, let me first explain what exactly they're planning to do. So like I said, you can report names and skins now. If your skin gets banned, the following happens. When a skin is banned, that player with that skin will have 1. Their skin removed, 2. Will be notified when they launch the game, 3. Will be automatically assigned one of the default skins, so that's Steve or Alex, 4. Can still play multiplayer and single player, 5. Can still select a custom skin at any time. Seems mild, which is good. I don't want people to get like repeatedly banned, you know? And then when your name gets banned, when a player's name will be banned, that player, 1, will have to choose a new name, 2, will be notified when they launch the game, 3, will not be able to play online until they change their name, and 4, can still play single player. So again, that doesn't seem too bad. They're not outright banning people. It's just some precautions to protect their own image. But my Mojang checks didn't come in this month, so I don't need to defend them anymore. I hope it's clear this is a joke. But Mojang, okay, come here for a second, right? Closer. Close. What the fuck are you thinking? It's supposed to be our world, man. Our imagination. So what if my skin is naked? I walk around my house naked. What does it matter? If my neighbor sees it, I'm just waving. I'm just playing with some friends, man. At least allow us to turn this feature off. Like, alright, listen. What if, right? What if we give this feature to your partnered servers in Bedrock, right? And then you have a message on the screen saying, oh yeah, we can't rate all... Oh yeah, they're already doing this. They already have this screen in place saying they can't rate third-party servers. They literally have third-party server on the taskbar, right? I don't get it, man. So they want to rate online experiences, but then they don't. Like, I know it's just all legal butt covering.
From what I've heard is that they could actually get into some legal shit if they keep going the route that they're going, because the more that they make regimented rules for how online interaction can happen, the more they become responsible for those online interactions. So they're actually kind of shooting themselves in the foot with what they're doing here. This is very much a Microsoft thing. This isn't Mojang. Like, people say, oh, what the fuck, Mojang? I'm almost certain this is not a Mojang thing. This is Microsoft telling them they need to, you know, tighten up their online interactions stuff, which is really sad because there was a true freedom kind of feeling with the original setup, and slowly it's being like shaved and carved and taken away. That's the thing, is like, I get why they're doing it. I get why they don't want things to like, they don't want a parent seeing their kid playing on a server with a naked skin, or with like guns, or with nudity or whatever. They don't want they don't want people seeing their kids playing a game with those things in it. But legally speaking, if a user chooses to mod their game, or if a user chooses to play online with other people, those interactions can't be like, if you have those warnings, there's like, you know, there's certain classifications you can, pardon me, Jesus Christ, there's certain classifications you can apply for as a video game, that, you know, you have those things where it's like online interactions cannot be regulated by the company, because it's just impossible. It's like, it's that rule it's that American law, like, I've heard of it referred to as Section 230 or something like that, that where online service providers like YouTube or Facebook or whatever social media, they can't regulate every single thing that a user posts. It's just not feasible. So they aren't reliable. They aren't held accountable if someone posts something that violates a certain law, or violates their own rules. They can't be held accountable for that because it's just unfeasible. And but yeah, if the more you put like rules and regulations into your system, and the more the more regimented you make your system, the more reliable, the more you become responsible for those things. It becomes harder and harder to defend that rule, like purposely placed hole in the law. So I actually think that they're going about it the wrong way, but whatever. What's wrong with the Twitter X logo? Lots of wrong. Weird. It's so much more pronounced when it's smaller. The smaller the X is, the way more pronounced that weird jaggedness looks to it. Like when he's showing it here, I can hardly tell. Like I don't really see the illusion much myself. Like maybe just very slightly. But when he goes back to, oh fuck, I accidentally Shit.
We'll all be moving to Threads. So that is to
Oh,
make
I
it so
got-
we didn't have this problem. So to create or another logo designer or the top
Yeah.
left.
When you see it here, suddenly here, I'm like, holy shit, you can totally see it. It looks like it goes like this. It looks like a lightning bolt going through the larger X line. Man, that's wild.
We didn't have this.
Yeah, it's interesting. Logo design is really fascinating. I saw some of my friends who were in the, I think, they call it nowadays, they call it DVC here in New Zealand. Basically like digital art and, design, logo design, design for, what the fuck would you call it? That kind of stuff like that, along the same lines as logo design and stuff like that, is really fascinating to me. Yeah, see, I saw some of my friends doing it at school, and I was fascinated by what they were doing in their subject, in their class. But I did fucking science. I did all the sciences, so I didn't get to do any of that stuff.
If you are old enough to even remember, chances are you have some faint,
I love-
maybe even vivid
I love
memories
Windows XP.
of seeing this little guy on the side of your computer screen. Particularly when using Microsoft Word. You may have come across him in
I got
school
stuff in
during
my
computer
teeth.
class, or even just using the computer at home, recreationally. The fact is, he was everywhere, and you could not escape him. His name? Microsoft Clippit, commonly referred to as Clippy, and he was seen as the answer to all of Microsoft's problems at the time of its introduction in 1997. Many people were still getting used to the idea of computers, viewing them more as complicated, intimidating machines rather than convenient, user-friendly tools. And Clippy was Microsoft's attempt at putting an adorable face to this rapidly growing, relatively new technology. It changed people's perceptions, all right, but not in the way Microsoft was hoping. Rather than seeing Clippy as this warm, welcoming, helpful addition to the Windows experience, many people just found him very annoying, distracting, and felt that he complicated things even further than before.
I loved the Windows Assistant characters because there was Clippy, but people talk about Clippy, but people don't talk about the little dog helper character you could get, or the little wizard. You could change Clippy was not the only option. You could change it to one of like 3 or 4 different characters, and I liked the puppy one, and I liked the wizard character. The wizard would like come in like a little burst of like cloud, like a little cloud, and then he'd do basically the same thing that Clippy did, but you know, he'd do little wizardly things. Rory, what do you think of Elon? See, I'm one of those. Unfortunately, I'm one of those people who, when I first came across Elon Musk, I was like, he's a visionary. He's that millionaire or billionaire who actually wants to do things and make things in the world, advance science and technology, and I was so excited. And then I slowly, more and more, grew to dislike him because he slowly, more and more, started shifting towards. I remember there was a point, sort of like early on, a couple of years after I had first heard of Elon Musk, where I was like, Elon Musk is either going to be the technological savior, you know, the one who like advances humanity in new and interesting ways. He's either a genius, or he's gonna be like a Lex Luthor. He's gonna turn and be like evil billionaire with like his own agenda. that he's always trying to achieve. And yeah, in the end, it turns out that I was right about that. I was right to be concerned, basically, because he turned into, like, firstly, I found out, because at the time, when I first came across him, I thought he was a genius. I thought he was, he was the inventor, I thought, of Tesla and a bunch of other products, stuff like that. I thought he was the mastermind behind them. And it just turns out that no, he just had a lot of money, and he was able to buy his way into all those tech companies. Elon hasn't had an original thought in his life. He's just bought his way into all these other people's technologies that they've spent years working on. He just buys his way in and then fucks with the company. Yeah, no. I don't like Elon. Sorry to anyone who does like Elon Musk, but I don't like him anymore. I used to like him before I learned who he really was. Yeah. Clippy, on the other hand.
When trying to do basic
I like
tasks such
Clippy.
as writing a paper, Clippy would often just get in the way, asking bubble-headed questions or providing irrelevant advice that would ultimately just hinder the productivity of the user. Microsoft's sole mission of trying to facilitate the use of their products ended up
that's just
completely
it.
backfiring.
I was about to mention that as well, like, because Mark and I, that's Mark, by the way. Mark and I were talking about this the other day. Is like, I think of Lex Luthor as just being like the evil billionaire, but at least Lex Luthor in the actual comics and the stories and the stuff like that, Lex Luthor is at least a genius. He's not just a billionaire; he's also a genius. Elon Musk isn't a genius or well, he's a billionaire and that's it. He's not a genius. When I first came across Elon, I thought he was a genius because I thought he was the inventor of all those products. But no, he's not a genius. He's a fucking idiot. He's just a super wealthy idiot. And so, and desperate to look cool to all the nerds, all the online nerds. So yeah. It's so sad. There was such potential there. And then it turned into nothing.
In their face, even in some extreme cases, turning people off from Windows altogether. When we look at the strange tale of Clippy in retrospect, it is quite apparent that it was destined to fail from the very beginning. And this all had to do with Microsoft's deep disconnect with their audience, their untimely vision, and just their overall poor execution of the product. But was, or even is there, any way of saving Clippy? Well, that's where the untimely vision part of all this comes into play. Perhaps Clippy wasn't this catastrophic failure on Microsoft's end, but simply a product too ahead of its time. Maybe it was the people who were the problem, not Clippy. Maybe Microsoft was trying to solve a problem that just didn't exist yet. And just maybe, people needed more time to understand the capabilities and workings of the personal computer. Today, we take a look at the conception and development of what would arguably become Microsoft's strangest product, and how it would accidentally shape the way for creating assistant technology that we take for granted today.
I don't think we have time for this video, but yeah. I find it fascinating. I find Clippy and his existence fascinating. But yeah, my biggest gripe is that people never talk about the other characters. There were other characters. There are other helper characters on XP. Yeah, that's the thing is... Twist extend mod bomb gem counter high increase glitch. So wait, bomb gem and counter a high increase glitch. I'm assuming it's to do with this. It's not supposed to be 115. I don't really know enough about the base game to know. Alright, Time to refresh the page. Yeah, as Zach, as he was saying, yeah, people compare Elon Musk to Tony Stark, but in the comics, Tony Stark is a genius. Tony Stark is the inventor. He's the guy working on the machines, making them amazing. But Elon Musk isn't that guy. Elon Musk isn't in the factory working on the Tesla, making the battery better and more advanced and stuff like that. No, he's just the guy with a lot of money. He's like, Tesla. And meanwhile, he's got engineers who are the real Tony Starks, but without the money, who are actually working on like crazy technology. And arguably being hindered by the existence of Elon Musk. Anyway, my take on speedrunning Wheatley. Okay. Let's have a look. Yeah. Tony Stark at least is a genius of some variety. Ultra wide again, yeah.
Revenge. You like revenge, right? Everybody likes revenge. Well, let's go get some.
Welcome. Let me just flag something up. According to the control panel light up there, the entire building is going to self-destruct in about 6 minutes. I'm pretty sure it's a problem with the light. I think the light's on the blink, but just
yeah,
in case
it's
it
4K.
kill you.
I was gonna say, my monitor's 2K.
So let's call that 3 minutes and then a minute break, but we should leave allegedly 2 minutes to figure out how to shut down whatever's starting with the fire. So anyway, that's the itinerary. Also, I took the liberty of watching the tapes of you
figuring out how to uninstall Clippy.
mistakes. 4-part plan.
You could disable Clippy, I remember.
No portal services. 2, start the neurotoxin immediately. 3, bomb-proof shields for me, leading directly onto number 4, bombs. Throwing it. You know what? This plan is so good, I'm going to give you a sporting chance and turn off the neurotoxin. I'm joking, of course. Goodbye.
Neurotoxin level at capacity in 5 minutes.
That's sounded real. No, that was actually an impression of you. Actually, because you just fell into my trap, my brilliant trap. Just said, I wanted you to trick.
Oh. Interesting.
Warning. Core corruption at 50%. Vent system compromised. Neurotoxin offline. Reactor explosion in 4 minutes.
What happened? What happened? What have you called to me? What is that? Hold on. The bloody...
Quick, what's the situation? Oh, hey, you pretty lady.
That's neat.
Name's Rick.
Yeah, getting
You out having yourself.
Warning. Core corruption.
getting yourself over to the things before they actually happen.
Destroyed.
Yeah.
Reactor explosion uncertainty emergency preemption protocol initiated. This facility will self-destruct in 2 minutes.
Enough! I told you not to put these cores on, but you don't listen, do you? Why?
Here's another core. This one should do it.
The moon orbits under attack.
Come on.
7.32 days.
Anytime now.
The brake was not invented until 1895.
There,
Before this,
yeah.
someone had to remain in the car at all times, driving in circles until passengers returned.
What's this
Warning.
song?
Core corruption at 100%.
I don't remember that song.
Manual
Yeah.
core replacement required.
I was about to say, that music, I don't remember that music for the boss fight.
Are you ready to start? Corrupted core. Are you ready to start?
What do you think?
I think, or at least hope that Val realizes how bad that will be.
Pick up on my sarcasm.
Stalemate detected.
Oh, Elon bought Valve. I don't think they'd ever sell. I don't think Gabe Newell would ever sell Valve to anyone.
That just cleans right off, does it? Well, that would have been good to know a little earlier.
Stalemate Resolution
Yeah.
Associate. Please press the Stalemate Resolution button.
Do not press that button.
Speedrun music, oh.
Movie trap the stalemate button. What? Are you still alive? You are
Look
joking.
how fast and forceful the executives on Twitter wanted Elon to buy them. True. But I think the big difference with Valve is, as far as I'm aware, Valve are not publicly traded. So only Gabe Newell owns Valve, which is why they don't have to, when they make games, they're not stuck to a deadline. They don't have to release them. If they get like 60-70% through development and they're like, nah, we don't like it, they can just scrap it. They're not held to account to sell to finish the games that they're making, because Valve don't have stakeholders. The stakeholders are the customers. That's the closest thing to a stakeholder they have. Yeah.
Space! Ah! Ah! Let go! We're in space! Ah! Let go! Let go! I'm still connected! I can pull myself in! I can still fix this!
I already fixed it, and you are not coming back.
Oh no! Change your plans! Hold on to me! Tighter! Ah!
Modify the portal colors. Can't say I noticed that. That was cool. That was good. Firstly, impressive speedrun. Impressive, getting to the places before you need to get to them so that you can just immediately get them. But that music mod was really cool. That, modified version of some of the pieces there was super cool. Interesting. I've not come across that before. Also, this video is age restricted. This video Maddie's posted. Why is it age restricted? Is it just a lot of swearing? There's a song in here. X Gon Give It To You by DMX. Let's just have a little glimpse.
Douchebag. Weren't you supposed to be in the test chamber a half an hour ago? How about you fucking get on that instead of standing around like a dumbass? Gordon, you should try to grab one of the security guard's weapons and see how that goes. Hey, Freeman, I heard if you stick your head into the mass spectrometer, you get a raise.
Dear. Should this really be community guideline strike? This is just funny.
Are you on acid or something? You realize you're late to the test chamber and you're standing around absorbed by a fucking microwave. Do the pretty lights make the monkey happy? I heard you have a thing for Eli's daughter, Alex. That your thing, huh? A nice ripe child? Fucking weirdo. Stop skipping around like a fucking nut job. You're a scientist.
She's a baby in this game. But by the time you play by the time you play Half-Life 2, you have not aged, but she
Think
has.
to yourself, wow, I'm Gordon Freeman. Everyone fucking hates me, but I persist anyways? Get your man titties out of here, Freeman.
Man titties?
Get fucked, Gordon Freeman. You're a clown, you know that? Feel free to slip into the anti-mass spectrometer laser today, you fucking fruitcake. Sorry, did I say that out loud?
Wow.
Well, if it isn't Gordon Freeman, it's not like we've all been waiting all morning for you. By all means, sit around and have a chat, you arrogant fuckhead. Nice goatee, Gordon. I'll have to consider that style should I ever go gay and give up all hope of touching a woman. Do me a favor and walk away.
Wow.
Gordon, do me a favor. Go out to the catwalk near the tram and just step off the ledge. Thanks. Hey, Gordon, try not to fuck up the test and kill everyone in the facility. Gordon, if I have to tell you one more time that I don't care about your RuneScape character, I'm going to fucking put pencils into my ears. Get lost. Hey, you should subscribe to Studio. He makes great content, but it's all over the place, so buckle in because that shit is a goldmine of weird bullshit you never asked for.
Hey, Gordon, catch me later and I'll buy you absolutely nothing because we're not friends and I fucking hate you. Cut that ponytail, by the way. It makes you look gay as shit. You press that button ever again and I fucking end your story right here. You hear me, you pasty face clown? Gordon, hold up. You want to hear me rap? Hold on, let me just turn up my phone.
This is the part that I can't show. That fucking video. Well, there's a bit of homophobia in there. I still thought it was funny. G-Man's been spreading rumors, yeah.
The recording, just so you know.
Alright. I'll tell you when. No, throw.
It didn't fly over the gate, but it went to the other side.
Flew over to the fucking stairs or something.
You just blow up a car. No wonder Gordon doesn't talk, yeah. If that was his workplace, yeah, like as you were saying before, no, I do think they deserve to be killed. Yeah, like if that was his workplace, if I was Gordon, I'd be the one fucking, you know what? Residence Cascade. You can all fucking die. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, what the fuck? Have a tradition of blowing up that car during the okay. Yeah.
You just reminded me of the perfect scene. Alright, tell me when. Tell me when to throw it, because I won't know when you confirm it. Tell me when.
Alright. Get over here. Now.
Bye-bye, car. Oh, it's going towards you!
I got that on recording. I
almost got you.
Let's
go. Alright. What's this? Oh, rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. And this isn't copyrighted. I made this myself to tribute it. Well, it doesn't. Just because you made it yourself doesn't necessarily mean it's not copyright. Yeah, I can really hear the music coming from the other computer. The car nearly hit me. Yeah, it looked like you just got into the cutscene, like, right before it hit you. Okay. Ah, there's more. Never mind, that's it. Yeah. That's fair. I'll give it one more refresh. This might end up being a bit of a shorter stream. Yeah, that's it. That's it for today. That is the end of r/Rorius. Imagine if that was the version of Half-Life that's shipped. They're just all swearing at you. Get to your fucking job, Gordon. Yeah, that would be upsetting from his perspective. Reviews be like overwhelmingly negative, yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the end of r/Rorius for now. So I think we'll just have a we'll call it a nice short stream. I'll go have a nap because I'm clearly still quite tired. Um, I'll go have a nap with banana, and I hope you guys have a wonderful night. It has to be done like that so the heist remains stealthy. Oh, right. Still has to go to like. Right. Yes. Yeah. 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 Because shit that's happening during the cutscene, or that follows immediately follows, just doesn't get registered. I can show you one more thing. Oh, okay. If you've already posted it. No, you haven't. You haven't posted it yet. So this is just funny to go from chaos to normal. Right, yeah. Yeah. Just like crazy explosions to suddenly, shh, we're on a heist. Yeah. Oh, video games. Oh, video games and their logic. Yeah. So yeah, what was the one more thing you wanted to show me, Zach? Let me know when I can refresh the page, and we'll watch it. But yeah, so I'm hoping I'm gonna try and stream like almost every day this week. So we'll have the next entropy center stream tomorrow, hopefully. And you heard that? Came from the front gate. Probably just the wind. The ones that I like the most, those ones. Oh, okay, yep. The ones that I like of those the most are where the person gets like hit with an arrow. Like they get hit. They get to them and they're like, what was that? And then they look around and they're like, oh, it was probably just the wind. So they just now have an arrow sticking out of them that they've like framed they've framed on the wind. It's there, trust me. Fix it, Missouri School of Freeman Brander. I'm assuming is it who I think it is? It might not be. At first I thought it was Smooth McGroove, but I don't think it is actually. Okay. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that was it. That was the one. Was that the one? Was gonna be the day where the cutscene takes too long to start and we get detected. Yeah. One of these days you'll blow up the car and not quite trigger the cutscene fast enough to avoid the sudden notoriety. But yeah, that'll do it for today. Yeah, as I said, I'm gonna go take a nap. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. I'll switch it to this one. Watched. Has to be frame perfect. That's why we had to say when. Right, I see. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for okay, bye. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this stream. This has been nice. This has been chill. I do like these streams. I like just chilling and hanging out and watching some stuff with you guys. But yeah, we'll pick up the remaining game that is the Entropy Center. And then there's some things that I've been holding off playing that I want to play coming up right after that. So yeah. It's Ross Scott. Oh, I was gonna say. I'm gonna look that up. Look up Ross Scott. Ross Scott. Yes, that's it. I was gonna say I recognized the face, but then the only name that came to my mind was Smooth McGroove, but I was like, that's not Smooth McGroove. I couldn't think of who it was for a long second there. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, if you like what you saw, hit like. If you want to see more from me, then subscribe. Hit the bell, hit the share. If you like the stream, I hope you like the stream. And I hope you have a good rest of your night or day or whatever time it happens to be. Yeah. We'll be streaming hopefully the rest of this week. And then yeah, was there today is yeah, today's Wednesday. Am I able to Am I going to be able to stream tomorrow? I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be able to stream tomorrow, but if I can't stream tomorrow, I'll make sure to stream on Thursday. Sorry, stream on Friday. Thursday your guys' time, Friday my time. Because I want to finish Entropy Center. And then I've got some games that we've got some special streams that I've been holding on to for like a month now, or more than a month now. That yeah, we'll get to that sooner rather than later. Yeah, see you guys. Have a good rest of your night or day or whatever. Bye. Bye.